Zoning Commission meeting. This meeting is being recorded, televised, and viewable on Swiftel Channel 19, ITC Channel 168, or the Brookings County YouTube channel. I now call this meeting to order. We have two approvals of minutes tonight. Approval of minutes for the joint meeting from dated April 6, 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich. Second by Troyan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of minutes.
So move.
Motion by Bartley. Second by.
Aye.
Motion passes. Items to be added to the agenda by commission members or staff.
I have nothing, just during our staff report.
Okay. An invitation for citizens to schedule a time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. Do I have anything to add? Simple. Disclosure of conflicts of interest, relationships to applicant or ex parte communication.
I need to sit out the Bullstead issue.
Okay. Kyle will be here by then. Approval agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich.
Second.
Second by Kleinjohn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Excuse me. We will now convene as the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission. I will now call this meeting to order and would like to welcome those in attendance at tonight's meeting. The Brookings County Planning Commission is a 9-member commission whose function is to recommend approval or disapproval of land use plans, zoning ordinances, subdivision plats, and amendments thereof to the Brookings County Commission. The commission makes its recommendation based upon the adopted comprehensive plan for the physical development of the unincorporated areas of Brookings County. As a matter of policy, all motions are to be made in the positive. After a motion is moved and seconded, it is open for debate. Those supporting the motion shall in turn give their reasons. Those opposing the motion shall then offer their reasons. After everyone has been given a chance to be heard, the commission shall recommend approval or disapproval based on the testimony and information presented. A simple majority vote of a quorum of members of the Planning and Zoning Board in attendance is required to forward the recommendation. Agenda Plat 002, plat of Lot 1 of Finnegan's Addition in the east 989.3 feet of the southwest 1/4 of Section 36, Township 110 North, Range 51W of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings, South Dakota. Richard, would you read staff report? So, is there a motion? Motion by Troyan.
Second.
Second by Diedrich.
Yes, 2022 plat 002, Peter and Nancy Takes are platting off a 7.2 acre parcel from the 93 acres they own. And the parcel is being purchased by an adjoining acreage owner to enlarge their acreage. The parcel is not a buildable site for residents as it does not meet the 35 acre requirement. And there will be a slight correction on when they get the plat here. There's a 0.3 and a 0.5 that are displaced in the wrong spot. So when they get those corrected, we'll pass that on. But all the dimensions and everything else will stay the same. So this is the plat, L-shaped, access off of 216. This is the existing acreage that he is buying this property to enlarge his acreage right here. So this is the existing acreage. Beacon map with the plat overlaid on it. This is the full parcel that it's the 7.2 acres is coming out. This is roughly the area right here that would be parceled out. And that's all that I have. I do not believe the applicant is here this evening.
Okay. If the applicant is not here, I'll open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call a vote?
Bartley,
Aye.
Erickson, Storhog,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Klein John,
Aye.
Troyan.
Aye.
Motion passes. And Ford, excuse me.
Aye.
Sorry, Chad.
Do we need to wait till Kyle gets you on both sides?
No, we're good to go.
We're good to
Just a majority on that.
Okay, agenda item 2022, plat 003, plat of Bolstead Second Subdivision in the southwest 1/4 of section 25, township 109 north, range 52W of the 5th prime meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion? Motion by Troyan,
Second.
second by Storhog. Richard, would you read staff report?
Yes, 2022 plat 003. Greg Bolstead is platting off a 35-acre parcel from the 143.76 acres they own. And the parcel is a future building site for a family member that meets the 35-acre requirement to build a home on. Access to the parcel will be off 219th Street, otherwise known as Brookings County Gravel Road number 14. And the plat does meet the 2016 comprehensive plan requirements. This is the plat. This is the existing building site that is there, that has been sold. So they're going on the east side of that. This is the 35 acres right here. There's just the beacon map with the plat overlay on it, with the outlined in red, the proposed borders. So there's just the beacon map. Proposed area with the black X on there. Yeah, I don't believe the applicant is here this evening.
Okay. Well, then I'll ask, is the applicant here? On the record for that. Seeing that, I will now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call the vote?
Erickson, Storhog,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Troyan,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion carried.
He should be.
Hadn't even left home
What?
yet. He hasn't even left home
He
yet.
told me he was just leaving 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I found a cow in his front yard.
Again?
Just got this. Just getting in the elevator. Had a cow in my front yard.
Oh, he's here. This.
Oh,
elevator.
in this elevator. I thought he meant
You got a
at
late
home.
message.
Calm down there. We're gonna be
Okay,
okay.
I'm fine.
Just to bring the audience members up to date, it's for variances to pass, we need 6 votes. And we have 8 members on our board tonight, so 6 out of the 8 members need to vote yes on this. So our full board is 9. We have 2 missing members, and we're short 1 board member, so we have a board of 8 this evening. So
We will now convene as the Brookings County Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment is a 9-member board which has the power to hear requests for variances, conditional uses, appeals from non-ministerial decisions of the zoning officer. The concurring vote of 2/3 of the full board membership of the board, 6 votes, is necessary for approval of a variance or an appeal of the zoning officer. The concurring vote of a simple majority of those board members present and voting is necessary for approval of a conditional use permit. In accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, we require a motion to approve a request before it can be debated. As a matter of policy, all motions are to be made in the positive. The board, under specific powers granted to it by the state, shall authorize variances from the zoning requirements where special conditions exist on the land that will result in unnecessary hardship for the applicant. Financial disadvantage to the property owner shall not constitute proof of an unnecessary hardship. Agenda item 2022 variance 002. Kevin Hunhoff has made an application 2022 variance 002 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for a variance Article 4 District Requirements, Chapter 4.03 LP Lake Park District, Section 4.03.03 Density, Area, and Yard Regulation Minimum Lakefront. This property is described as lots 7 and 8, excluding the southeast 10 feet of Lot 8, all in C.M. Christensen subdivision, Government Lot 4, and Lot A of the County Highway Addition, all in the northwest 1/4 of Section 6, Township 112 North, Range 52W, Laketon Township, located at 296 South Lake Drive, Arlington, South Dakota 57212. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich.
Second.
Second by Vanderwall. Richard, would you read the staff report?
The mic on here. Whoop. 2022 variant 002. Mr. Hunoff is applying for a variance to build a residence. I noticed here I was looking on the opposite side of the site plan. It's actually 23 feet 5 inches from the highest known water mark and not 31.3. 31.3 is on the west side of the property and the closest distance is on the east side. So this would be a variance of 40, a little less than 25 feet, I believe. So proposed residents will meet the side 8-foot side setback of 8 feet and the front yard setback of 25 feet. And the applicant has a purchase agreement with the property owner pending the approval of this variance. The north portion of the parcel is in the floodplain, and the applicant will need to complete a floodplain development permit to meet the FEMA, or the Federal Emergency Management FEMA floodplain standards for building in the floodplain. The floor plan was included in this report, and things to consider are the shape and the size of the lot. The C.M. Christensen subdivision was platted on November 20th, 1950, prior to the current zoning ordinances. And the comprehensive plan states that there will be continued development on the lakes in Brookings County and continued growth and development. And letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Laketon Township Chairman and Clerk, and public notices were published in the Brookings Register on January 18th and 25th, 2022, and the Volga Tribune on January 20th and 27th, 2022. Here's the applicant's variance application. There's a site plan. This is where the east side, this is a baseline, the 20 foot from the highest known water mark, additional 3 foot here, so the distance is 23 feet 5 inches right here from the highest known water mark. The 31 feet 3 inches is over here on the west side, right? So it's wider over there, narrower on the east side. Proposed setback from the side setback on the east, 8 feet, 2 feet from the northeast property, or the roadside right here from the property line, and with the wide right away, that is the practice. We have been allowing them to go up to 2 to 3 feet of the property line for the front yard setback. So, and on the west side, setback of 14 feet 5 inches from the rest property line. Just show the site plan again with the distances on there. Just proposed elevations of the home. This would be the roadside garages here in the front of the house. Floor plan. And this is where the 23 foot 5 inches would be to this corner right here of the window that junts out there from the dining room. Just the copy of the plat when it was originally platted. Here's the beacon map of the property. A little bit of the showing the floodplain in the red on the lake side there a little bit. There's the beacon map without the floodplain on there. The house that was on there. It's a bare lot right now. The house has been removed or taken off or demolished off the property. So it is a bare lot. The existing landowner did remove the existing house, excuse me. This is just looking out from the roadside, looking towards the north, on the south edge of the lot, looking towards the lake. This is the wheel, 3 feet. This would be the south edge of the house, 3 feet from the property line on the east side. This is looking towards the west northwest. The wheel here at the 14 feet 5 inches. There, back from the property line. Let's just look at the riprap. Looking back up towards, you got to really look up from the riprap up towards the top of the landing there. This is from down on the shore, looking back up that way. This is the wheel at the 23 foot 5 inches from the highest known water mark. This is looking towards the east. There, this would be the wheel at the 23 foot 5. Highest known water mark is down here along the retaining wall area that's marked. There was a stake on there that they had marked down there. So the structure and house will be behind the existing structures that are there, so will not impede on visibility looking up and down on the lake shore. Let's be looking back towards the west northwest. Like I say, about midway up the existing staircase here is where the 23 foot 5 inches is. See house structure behind the house to the west also. And the applicant is here this evening, and that's all that I have.
Thank you, Richard. Would the applicant step forward, clearly state your name, make sure the green light's on the mic. To add to Richard's report,
I do not.
any members of the board have any questions at this time? Hang tight for a minute then. Seeing none, I'll now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you read the findings of facts?
Yes, we'll read these first ones in entirety, and the other ones, as we go on this evening, I'll read the highlighted areas. All right, Brookings County zoning variance 2022-002, an application for a variance have been filed with the Brookings County Zoning Commission. Acting as the Brookings County Board of Adjustment, a copy of the application be attached hereto. Such application being made by Kevin Hunoff regarding the following real property owned by Karen Bomberger. Lots 7 and 8, except the southeast 10 feet of Lot 8, all in C.M. Christensen subdivision, Government Lot 4, and Lot A of Brookings of County Highway Edition, all in the northwest 1/4 of Section 6, Township 112 North, Range 52 West, Laketon Township. Located at 296 South Lake Drive, Arlington, South Dakota. After due notice, a public hearing have been held on the application on this first day of February 2022. Number 1, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment hereby finding that the strict application of the Brookings County zoning ordinance would produce undue hardship, that such hardship is not shared generally by other properties in the same zoning district in the same vicinity, that the authorization of such variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property and the character of the district, will not be changed by the granting of the variance, and that the granting of such variance is based upon reasons of demonstrable and exceptional hardship as distinguished from variations for the purpose of convenience, profit, and caprice. Number 2, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finding that the condition or situation of the property concerned or the intended use of the property is not so general of nature or recurring in nature as to make reasonable, practicable, the formulation of a general regulation to be adopted as an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Number 3, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finding that the written application of the petitioner demonstrates that special conditions or circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or buildings in the same district. That literal interpretations of the provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance. That the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That the granting of the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, structures, or buildings in the same district. Number 4, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finding that the reasons set forth in the application justify the granting of the variance, and that the variance is a minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure, that the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and the intent of the Brookings County zoning ordinance, and will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. Number 5, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions this variance upon the following special conditions or safeguards. A, shape and size of lot. B, C.M. Christensen subdivision was platted on November 20th, 1950, prior to the current zoning ordinance requirements. C, a portion of the property is located in the floodplain and will need to be built to the Brookings County floodplain ordinance standards. D, it's subject to the applicant's purchase of the above described real property. The Brookings County Board of Adjustment, by at least 2/3 vote of its full membership, hereby grants the above petitioner a variance for the above described real property as follows. Build a new residence with an attached garage with the northeast corner 23 feet 5 inches from the highest known watermark on Lake Ponset, and the elevation of the lowest floor to be 3 feet above the highest known watermark. B, Brookings County floodplain development permit required and following Brookings County floodplain ordinance for building in the floodplain. This variance is specifically conditioned upon initial and continuing compliance with all the conditions and safeguards in 5 above, upon compliance of all applicable provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. If approved, the Brookings County zoning director is authorized to issue any required building permits for construction consistent with the terms of this variance. If this variance is not used within 3 years of the date granted, it shall be invalid. Dated this first day of February, 2022.
Are there any additions to the findings of facts?
I concur with the findings of the facts, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Diedrich. Richard, would you call the vote?
Starhog,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Troyan,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Agenda item 2022, variance 003. Megan and Lane Hammond have made an application 2022 variance 003 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for a variance, Article 19, Section 19.01, shelter belt setback requirements. The property is described as Anderson Addition in the southwest 1/4 of Section 27, Township 110 North, Range 49W, Aurora Township, located at 21286 475th Avenue, Aurora, South Dakota 57002. Is there a motion? Motion by Troyan,
Second.
second by Vanderwall. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 1 second. Caught up. Yes, 2022 variant 003, Lane and Megan Hammond have applied for a variance to plant a shelter belt parallel with the road 33 feet from the center of 475th Avenue. Next to the right-of-way, a variance of 100 feet. The required setback for a shelter belt parallel with the road is 100 feet from the road right-of-way. They would like to plant the new shelter belt close to the road to help reduce light and noise from the neighboring Novita Ag Processing Plant and to add greater privacy from traffic on the road and not to encumber the view from the house. The board will need to consider if there are any safety concerns when entering or exiting the property, with the proposed location of the shelter belt being close to the road. Letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Aurora Township Chairman and Clerk, and public notices were published in the Brookings Register on January 18th and 25th. Here's the variance application. This is their site plan. This is the road right here. This is their driveway. They like to plant a 5-row shelter belt right parallel with the road right here, 100-foot wide. Existing grove down to the south of them quite a ways. You'll see in the beacon map here on the south, and across the road to the west also there is a shelter belt there. This is a beacon map of their property. This is where they would like to plant the proposed shelter belt right here, right next to the right-of-way. This is the shelter belt on the west side of the road there, going to the east and west. This is down on the south side of their property, mature shelter belt there. This is looking north from the driveway along there. They have some trees planted, landscaping where the house is along there. This is looking south from the driveway. The wheel is at the 33-foot mark from the center of the road, looking towards the south. This is looking back from the driveway, looking into the property, and the wheel's at the 33-foot mark. Just to kind of give you some distance, otherwise I did measure looking south on there from the center of the road back 50 feet, or excuse me, from the center of the road back 83 feet, which would be 50 feet from the right-of-way. This is where 50 feet would come in at, right between the two trees 2 and 3 right here. And if they were to keep it at the proposed 100 feet from the right-of-way, 133 feet from the center of the road, be right past the end tree here. So I think there was one tree that was removed right here. It's kind of right between 2 trees that had been removed. So just to give you an idea where the setback distance would be if they were required to keep it there. So, and the applicant is here this evening, and that's all that I have. Oh, we did receive comments that you did receive from Novita on that, saying they had no objection. So,
Thank you, Richard. Would the applicant please step forward and clearly state your name into the mic?
Megan Hammond.
Do you have anything to add to Richard's report?
Just that the further we set, it, the more or the less light it will block out. Just with the angle of our house to Novita, we can. It's kind of a 2-story house, like a walkout, so it's really tall. So we can see a lot of the light, so the further that grove comes in, the more angle of the light we can see.
Okay. Any questions from members of the board at this time?
Do you have any idea what kind of trees you're planning on putting in on that outside row?
Yeah, that's a good question. We talked to the township. Bruce is here too, and they thought as long as we did, like lilac or more of a bush, not a tall tree, it would be fine. So the first couple rows we'll probably do more of a buffalo berry or a lilac or a plum or something smaller.
I checked my driveway before I came today, and I stepped it off from the middle of the road to where my original tree claim first row is, and that's 50 feet, and that's way too close. I find myself out there trimming trees every year to try and get better better visibility to the west out of my driveway. So I don't think I could support anything less than 50 or 60 feet from the center of the road.
Any other questions from members of the board? time. We'll come back to that. I'll open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that is for this? Step forward, clearly state your name and give the reasons you're for it. You're limited to 5 minutes.
That long. Good evening. My name is Bruce Kreitner. I'm a township super and current chairman, and I'm a resident along 475th Avenue, so I live about a half a mile from Leland and Megan. I'm here to support the project. Sorry I didn't get a letter sent in time, so I decided to come this evening and just let you guys know I support the project. We had Red Paul back in the late 90s, just down the road from Megan and Leland's property. They have a similar type of tree belt that they're proposing. Red put that in. It has lilac bushes up to the 33 feet. And it was like 5 rows of trees, or was the shorter bushes by the road and up to the taller trees. So there's other projects along 475th Avenue that are similar to what Megan and Leland are proposing. So I'm here to support their variance and have support from the Aurora Township.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience that is for this? Any audience that is opposed to this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board?
No, I've kind of got the same issue on my driveway, but I don't have anything that's as short as what they're talking. I've got tall spruce trees, and they're definitely a row that should not be there and should be removed. But I know the lilacs, as long as they're short, and I just traveling along that road. That's what I was trying to pull up on my phone here. Other residents along that road, I know towards the north, there's a lot more that have a lot of trees close to the road. But I don't know. I don't travel the road a lot and don't know if it's impairing sight or wildlife or anything coming at the road.
There's a question here that's been proposed that we had asked to account for the growth of the bushes along the south side of that grove so that they don't encroach on the right of way. In other words, it may be planted here, but growing over the 50 feet or whatever could be a problem. So we need to account for that growth of a bush, not where it's planted. So that may move the whole thing back another 10 to 15 feet, depending on what type of bushes you plant. Otherwise, as you say, they authorize it here, but are you going to trim it to that, or is it going to encroach on the right of way?
The trees along my driveway that are the closest to the road, they're not a lilac, but they're something kind of similar. They're shorter and thicker, and they're worse than trees because you can't see through them. And you can't trim them back like you can a tree. You have to cut the whole thing down. So I keep trimming mine and trimming them, and every year it's the same thing over and over because they just keep shooting out more branches. So I don't think the lilacs are going to gain you much. They're not going to be high enough to stop the light that you want to stop, but they're going to block your view when you're trying to leave the driveway.
Of what? Excuse me. Step up to the mic.
The
if you'd like.
picture of the bales.
Okay. Yep.
So our plan is to do a 5-row grove. And the ones closest to the or plum or something buffalo berry, something shorter so the township, they're not falling over on the township road. But then the plant Ponderosa seemed to grow very well on this property. So our other plan with row 3 and 4 possibly is a ponderosa, something tall that's going to help block that light. And like I said, from the house, it's a really tall house. So, you know, the further in you get, the whole grove is going to be pointless because it's going to block the view from our house with it being 100 foot in depth. I mean, we wanted a 5 row grove. And then also, the further it comes into the east, the angle at which you can see from our house windows to Novita, it completely misses, it doesn't block anything. You know what I mean? So if it's not going to block anything, I mean, that's the whole reason for planting it, is blocking the light, and helping with the noise, obviously. You know, if we could do, if 33 feet where the bales are there, is that what your plan was? Yeah, 40. The closest we can get, the better. I don't know if we would even do it at the 50, because it would start encroaching in our view and it would be pointless. It wouldn't block out the light from that corner window. You know, if we could do even 40 foot or 45 at the most, I think we would still, but if it were any more, I don't know if we would, or just do a 2 row grove. I don't know.
Have you thought about putting a row in parallel with your driveway closer to your house?
You mean two? Yeah, we don't want to block our view. We want to block the view from the road, because that's the whole line of Novita, the light from Novita.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Richard.
I did contact Novita today, and as far as their conditional use permit, when they were permitted, they were to have directional lighting on their lights at their facility. And I did check with the manager there today, and they do have directional lights, you know, directing the light down, so they are within their conditional that, so there is some shielding and lighting of the light so it doesn't broad out all over. So
Yeah, and we have no problem with Novita. I mean,
Yeah.
at all. But it's bright, you know.
So if you went to 45 feet from center of the roadway back, would you kind of abandon the shorter plan or shorter trees for your plan and just do the taller trees, or would they be shorter right away again?
I don't know. I guess we would kind of leave that up to the township, what they wanted. I don't know if we would shorten up the grove to 4 rows. Obviously, we want to comply with township. If we were 45 feet in, would you still want the shorter bushes? Yeah, so we
I guess
would.
my point is that if your objective is to block light, the shorter trees are not going to fulfill that requirement for you. So why would you put them in?
Yeah, we're just doing it to comply with the township, so they're not the tall trees closest to the
Right.
road. When they get tall, they're not going to fall over onto the township road.
So if we move back to 45 feet instead of the 33 or whatever it was that we were looking for, you're going to get some distance there that's maybe satisfactory for the township.
Right.
Are you planting the trees, or is the conservation district helping you with this, or?
Our plan is, we didn't want to order them before we were approved here, so the plan is with the conservation and then doing our own, whatever that fabric is called.
Yep. The initial deal there where that initial wheel sets at, that's between the bales and the road, basically your first row of trees would be in a fence line. And that there, right here, the one that Richard just had the cursor on, at your 33 feet to go there, if you would plant right down there, the trunk of the tree is going to be in the fence line. So then half of the width of that tree, it may only be 10 foot across when it's fully mature, but they're still going to be 5 feet out over hanging into the right of way, which is also going to impede your vision and create a safety hazard there. I mean, the whole reason we moved the shelter belts away from the road is based on safety for the roadway and yourselves. Is there any way to get a beacon map of Red's place? Or whoever's it is? Red's been gone a long time.
Yep, this is just, the pictometry just shows kind of the height of the house, but
Yep.
it didn't bring out. It just shows from the south view. It doesn't show from the horizontal view looking straight onto it, so it's kind of a distorted figure right there. But yes, we can get. Is this the this one here? Is this a row of bushes right here, this first row? Okay.
Yeah.
That's approximately 41 feet, 41 and a half, 42 feet from the center of the road.
That one's 45.
That would be the second row, so I don't know if they, anyway, if some of the bushes came out, or if they just planted the bushes that far back and brought the second row farther south, I don't know. But anyway. And I don't know if they were granted a variance for this. I did not go back and look, so they could have been here for a while. So
Does the township have any issues with snow removal? Once you bring it closer, it drifts onto the road. But with the addition of the trees, would you? The shelter belt make any difference?
could you come up to the mic, please, if you're going to speak? We need to have you recorded so we can hear you.
I was just saying that when I was talking with Megan and Leland about the project is both for vision and safety, like you guys have brought up with, with the variance, but there's a fair amount of dust that comes off of the plant there, and those lights are fairly bright, even if they've met your guys' requirements. There's a fair amount of light there, so I really support these guys with this project, and like their line of vision from their house, especially the second level of the house. When you guys look at the map, that sets up pretty high, and the angle of Navita just sets kitty corner right across there from the intersection, and so that was part of the reason we kind of looked at if they were to go to the setback to 100, like they're saying, is that won't cover their house and the vision to the plant, and so that's why we're supporting it. And you guys can see the shelter belts right around there as far as snow protection from both the north and west and south and east. And then right behind their place to the north is another large tree belt that comes right up to the road ditch there. So you can see there's a lot of tree belts right in that area.
What happens to the line of sight if it were lined up to that west pine tree? The last pine tree that's there. I don't have the picture here right now. The
You're
one with
back
the
there.
bales has the pine trees in it there. But if it lined up with that pine tree, what do you end up with there? Going,
Go down.
that
one
would work. That's
direction.
about 50, 55 feet.
Okay, so that's 50 feet between the two there?
I can go back to the beacon map and measure it off of there.
Yeah, if you could pick up that pine tree and give me what the distance is. Because the pine tree looks to me like it was planted there basically to prevent that visual safety coming in and out of the driveway, not just for you folks because you're used to it, but anybody with deliveries or anything else that comes into the driveway and out again onto the road.
Approximately 60 feet.
60. So if we went 55 feet or close to that, would you be acceptable as far as your,
Then they'd all be in line with that first pine tree.
what's about, it's 60 to the center of the tree. It's 55 to the width of the tree now. It'll be 50 when the tree gets bigger. So I guess I would look at an amendment to the resolution to look at 50 feet if that's accessible to the variance.
And we would need 6 members of the board to approve this. And if there's not 6 board, you'd have to wait 6 months. If it's defeated, you'd have to wait 6 months to reapply. Or you could either withdraw your application, or if you come to an agreement with what the board wants to do, then you can accept that to what distance they want to be. So you need to come back up to the mic to speak, please.
Can you measure 100 foot from that point, so 160 out and see
From the
where it-
tree to the east.
Yeah, please.
Be pretty close to this last pine tree right there. It would be right close to the, a little bit farther west from the west edge of your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you scan back far enough so you can see Navita at the same time as their house? So you can kind of get an idea
yep,
of where
I
it would
can.
have to be.
That way I can kind of see the line right there. It'd be right in here.
That's the 100 foot.
Right, yep. You go
The
straight.
100 foot would basically be off the edge of the house.
50 or 55 feet would be half of that, obviously.
Where would the 50 feet be?
Go They're 100 feet. I went back 50 feet from the driveway to that first evergreen to start their first row of trees, and they're going to plant a 100-foot wide shelter belt, and that's what they were getting at was the distance, how far east back to the east it would go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But if we were 50 feet off the road, the first row would block the view to Navita?
That would be
Tall enough.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest a tall row of trees, your ponderosa pine or something, in that first row, so you can get something in between your house and there. That would be quite similar to where you'd be at the 33 feet with your row of lilacs, and then your next row would be probably 14 feet, and then that would be something taller. So you would just not put the lilacs in.
Mm-hmm.
or they could put them to the inside, and it would still
Yeah.
mitigate some of the dust coming after it got
Yep.
through there.
And then that wouldn't block the view if they're on the inside to the east or to the south.
You're saying at the 50-foot mark?
At the 50 foot, put a tall row in.
Mm-hmm.
I could support that.
Mm-hmm.
At least I have ponderosa pine on my yard, and I would say they're close to 40 foot diameter, so they're 20 foot radius.
That's the downfall of putting them so close to the right of way is that if the township decides to enforce to keep you guys out of the right of way, you will be responsible for keeping those trees trimmed. So that's the kind of catch-22 of planting them that close. Because I've got that at the end of my driveway, that big row of pines, and we're in and out of our driveway a lot, probably a lot more than you guys are going to be. And it's a pain in the butt for us, but for being out in and out of the yard a couple times a day, it's probably not that big of a deal to slow. But
Yeah, I think the
Grow a
50 foot.
ponderosa pine right on the right of way, you would probably have neighbors with big combines complaining.
Would you be opposed to running the shelter belt at a slight angle? So as we start near the driveway near your house, we get farther away from the road. As you go to the south, it's going to help create an angle to stay away from, should help block the light just the same, but it'd give you your little bit more of your field of view that you're looking for.
Yeah, I think, you know, if we could do the 50 foot, just with the parallel to the road, we would be happy with that.
Go back into that first tree there, Richard, if you would. That one right there was at 60. Where's 50 at from that? And we're gonna go with the tall.
Yeah, this was the 50 feet is right. The edge of the tree right now.
So that tree there has grown to that size.
Maybe if you put the lilacs in the first row, they won't encroach on the right of way, and then go taller as you go back to the second and third row.
If you want to go 50 feet, I'd say the first row of lilacs, the second and third row be the tall trees, and then go back to a shorter tree on the inside so it doesn't impede your upward vision. It is kind of where I'd feel more comfortable with it. And then that extra 17 feet opens up a lot of view for your driveway coming out to see what could be coming down the road. Do you get truck traffic from Nevada on that road, or do they go back to Aurora?
They're pretty.
They can't.
They can't?
Not supposed to.
They're not supposed.
Not supposed to.
Yeah, I suppose you do.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
I would say 50 feet and leave it up to them what they want to plant in their first row. Then they can stand there and look and see. If they want to put tall ones in that first row, that's far enough back from the right of way that it wouldn't be a problem. And you could put a ponderosa pine or something in, and you could trim the bottom branches off so you could see underneath. And to see when you're pulling off the road, and then the taller part of the tree would still block your light that you want to block from the view.
Is there any additional comments from members of the board?
Just so I have this straight now, it would be from the right of way, the first row of trees would be 17 feet. Because we're measuring from the center of the road over to that first tree would be 50
Yep.
feet. Okay, thank you.
We're making that as an amendment to the variance.
We can put that in the findings.
We can put it in the findings.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional comments from members of the board?
Are you willing to accept that?
Yes.
Go through this and take care of
Thank you. Yes.
We will read the findings and fill it out in accordance as we go.
All right, I'll just go through the highlighted areas. I won't reread the whole thing, but we'll touch on the highlighted areas. Brookings County zoning variance 2022 VAR 003, an application for variance having been filed with the Brookings County Zoning Commission, acting as a Brookings County Board of Adjustment. Copy of the application being attached here too. Such application being made by Megan and Lane Hammond regarding the following real property: Anderson Addition in the southwest 1/4 of Section 27, Township 110 North, Range 49 West, Aurora Township. Located at 21286 475th Avenue, Aurora, South Dakota. After due notice, a public hearing having been held on the application on this first day of February 2022. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions this variance upon the following special conditions or safeguards: to conserve their hay or pasture land that they have there on the east of their where they want to plant the trees. The Brookings County Board of Adjustment, by at least two-thirds vote if it's full membership, hereby grants the above petitioner a variance for the above described real property to plant a 100-foot wide shelter belt parallel with the road, 475th Avenue. Do you want to leave that 100-foot in there, or do you want to say plant a shelter belt? So if they want to plant more trees down the road beyond that, they can. Just pass
Yeah,
that
I
back.
don't think they need the 100-foot wide
Okay.
part in there.
I would say just leave the 100 feet out. They can
Yeah.
make it as wide as they want to make it.
Yep.
It's only the outside row we're concerned with.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So we would be 50 feet, correct?
Yes.
50 feet from the center of 475th Avenue. So it'd be a variance of 83 feet, correct? This variance is specifically conditioned upon initial and continued compliance with all the conditions of safeguards and 5 above, and upon compliance with all applicable provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. If approved, the Brookings County zoning director is authorized to issue any required building permits for construction consistent with the terms of this variance. If this variance is not used within 3 years of the date granted, it shall be invalid. Dated this first day of February 2022.
Is there any additions to the findings of facts? Thank you, Mr. Vanderwall. Richard, would you call a vote?
Dietrich,
Yes.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
I
Troyan,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Starhog,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Moving on, agenda item number 12, department reports.
Yes, sir. If anybody wants COVID-19 kits, we'll be more than happy to give you some after the meeting downstairs. Stop by the office. And the March 1st zoning meeting, Richard will be running it, and I checked if Luke's going to be coming down for the meeting. So, and I won't be available on the phone. I'll still be traveling this late at night. And that's all I've got. Richard might have something to add to it.
We have a special meeting on Monday at 7 p.m., a joint meeting with the city to go over the, we're still looking for a zoning member in the northwest part there. So if you know of anybody that might be interested, get a hold of them, have them get an application into the county commission office.
In the northwest, you said?
Northeast.
Northeast.
Northeast,
Okay.
excuse me. Neil Troyon's district over there. Mr. Jensen, Larry Jensen is running for commission again, was misquoted in the paper. I don't know if you read that. It said zoning ordinance need updating or need to be looked at to become in compliance with today's uses and whatnot, and it should have read may need, not do need. So you wanted the board to make sure you was not having any ill feelings with you that you weren't doing your job. So it should have been a may need updating. So, and then after that, we'll discuss at our joint meeting on Monday other possible meeting dates in March for working on the joint ordinance. We can get through that. So we'll discuss that at that time. I believe that's all that I have.
Executive session.
No, sir.
Seeing none. Is your motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich, second by Troy. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.